this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. 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 I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching Septum Sin versus the World. I'm Septum Sin. This is Kotobuki Jake.
Hi.
And we're here to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Alright, well,
Gimme.
any case, let's show you some fun stuff. We both have themes this time. Mine is very closely tied. Matter of fact, it is tied to one individual for the most part. There's only two exceptions to this rule, and but in that pickup, it's he's still mentioned there, and that is Evan Jacobs. Evan Jacobs is somebody that I have been covering weekly now on the Anhedenia project, and if you haven't, there is actually a playlist. I just recently uploaded all of February's, so we're good to go every Thursday through February. Been still plenty more episodes to go. Probably almost into the summer. It's gonna be a long.
Won't that be nice?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of weeks. I got something on this channel every day this week, from here to Sunday.
Good deal.
So, any case, I guess I'll start us off with this. So, the first one here is the only one I've actually watched because it's used, and that is my favorite of his films, Schuster Levine, A Boxing Fable, a film by Evan Jacobs. And you can see he's got his, looks like a really tough boxer, right? And this is there. You know, it's kind of weird. This looks like it's printed on cheap paper because of the way it's done, but it's actually, well, you feel it. I mean, the texture is not.
Why
not
does
the
it
cheap
say
type.
Fremont Public Library?
Because it was a library pickup. The library had sold it, and so I picked it up. It's actually quite expensive and out of print. This cost me more than the $2 that was on here, and it's worth it. He's going to be releasing another one in the future, and if you haven't seen this, you should be picking it up. It reminds me a lot of the movie Take the Money and Run, Woody Allen film, one of his early films. And when I asked him, he actually said, yeah, that's because I was inspired by it. And I was like, oh, well, then there we go.
Okay.
But essentially it's about this fighter, and it starts out pretty funny. It's like, about a man who really should have been a plumber. About this guy, a really pathetic guy. He rents out this apartment with his friends, and he can only afford to stay in the bathroom. He ends up deciding he's going to get into this career as a boxer, and can't seem to win any fight. And it's done in the mockumentary format. It really is a pleasure to watch. And Inside Movies Galore will likely be covering it, because when we do our Meet the Cast this May, this is going to be my submission.
Good times. I'll have to hunt down a copy before then. This one cost me notably more than $2, but it was still a really good price. I have a very set theme for tonight, and that is Black Friday. Specifically, the very large number of items I picked up from Best Buy. I'll be presenting most of them tonight. There'll be a few left over. And there are mini themes scattered throughout. The first mini theme is getting caught up on my DC television. And we're going to start with Season 7 of Arrow, which I think was a $10 pickup.
Yay!
and almost gets me caught up. I think I might just need the final season, which is just
they'll
about
release-
to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I finally launched back into the Arrowverse wholeheartedly yesterday, started season 5. So,
I so need to get back into watching Arrow. I am
Yeah.
just bogged down with things. Well, my next one is a film of his, and again, you're going to get to see all of these reviewed eventually. If you watch the Anhedenia Project, I've seen all of these, and this is an animated film called 1985 to 1986. And yes, this is the animation style. Essentially, it's about these kids in middle school, essentially, and how they kind of adapt as they get older, friendship groups, and it doesn't look like it's as well written as it is. You wouldn't at face value do this, but oddly enough, the style bothered me at first, but as I moved through the movie, the story, I got absorbed in the story, and it was fine. I think that's how it is with animation, really. You take a look, I mean, Adventure Time really got one like, I don't want to watch this because of the style, but eventually I was pulled in. So, it's not necessarily about the quality of the animation if the story is right.
right.
And this one was a very good story. Alright, actually, and the episode covering this released last week. So you can actually watch that.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. The other one I launched back into last night, of course, was Flash, which I have season 5. A different Flash. But, so, once again, I think it was a $10 pickup. And I love checking out Black Friday for my television because that's a good way to get them cheaper. What's that?
That character did not end well.
Yeah, we'll find out eventually. But I started up season 3 of Flash. So I've gotten to the point where I think I've got 4 concurrent series. I've not yet started Legends of Tomorrow, but I've got Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl going. So we'll start Legends of Tomorrow this week. It'll be fun.
Oh, very good. I still have my copies still sitting there. They're not in the collection anymore, but they are still sitting there. Eventually may be watched. Alright, another fun film called Angela's Home Movies. Again, these are very minimalist covers. But this is about a guy who's kind of pathetic. He calls himself a professional gambler, finds out about a daughter. So he makes this movie to present to his daughter, sort of about himself, so that they can do it, and then he's going to make his way to her and give her a big gift and all of that. But things don't seem to work out quite in the way he wants them to, and that's what this movie is about. It's in a monologuing style that is present in a lot of the movies, and I was not as big a fan of it in a lot of them, but in this one it worked out really well. I did find it a good watch.
Good deal. All right, the last one in this mini theme, stepping away from Arrowverse but sticking with recent DC television, is I finally completed Gotham with season 5.
All right.
And then got another copy for Christmas from someone that didn't realize I bought it, even though I didn't ask for it for Christmas. But still, I will one day get around to watching the whole show. We kind of wandered off in season 4, I believe.
Yeah, we got most of the way through.
Yeah, but one day I'll get the whole thing watched. I kind of want to make some serious headway in Arrowverse before I get back to this one. But maybe once Columbo's out of the way, this will be the alternate.
Wow.
I did finish season 2 of Columbo.
You might finish the Arrowverse before you finish that. Oh my. Now this is the 4th installment of a movie series called DV, which is digital video. This is DV for Electric Nightmares. It actually even has the tag "Technology hates you." You see the little hand there. I really did like this. This is a series that kind of went up and down for me, and this particular movie I really liked. And again, there is a video on that already out discussing all 4 DV films. Essentially, there's a curse on basically on a camcorder, and then it gets transferred into this guy's phone. During this time, all of these electronic devices in his office end up turning on him and plotting to kill him. It's a very interesting one and has some creepy moments. I was very impressed by this one.
Cool. All right, my next mini theme also it's weird because I told him originally I wanted to do 9 because I had 3 sets of 3, but he wanted to do 13, so I was like, okay, that's fine with me.
Lucky number.
Exactly. But my next set, keeping with DC but going into a different subgroup, DC animation. This is one that I really want to see. I'm really excited about. And I don't remember how much I paid, but it wasn't a lot. And that is Batman Hush.
Yes.
Which, if you recall from our previous commentary, this is based on one of the best comics probably ever written.
Got me back into Batman for a while.
It's a really, really, really good Batman story. I believe that it was supposed to be a relatively faithful version. I have not gotten to see it yet, but I look forward to it.
Won't be as good as the comic, but they rarely are.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, Hush was amazing. I mean, Leob and Lee together. Well, I don't know if Batman has been almost that good in times. Alright, so this is another animated film, what you couldn't be able to tell necessarily, which is Insect. Done in the same style as 1985-1986. This is one about these 2 boys that mysteriously, well actually not mysteriously, they lose their mother and are parentless. So the relatives that are going to take them, they need a week to get the house ready for them. So they get to, stay in the house for 1 week to pack things up because the one brother's like 17 and he's nearly an adult anyway. So they're doing this thing, but there are these mysterious things happening in the house, like these weird phone calls, and things keep disappearing. And all of it seems to point to the room of their dead mother. It's a very well done tale. I've been kind of up and down about the horror that has been produced, but this really was excellent. Excellent film. Matter of fact, if you see me with a physical copy of it, it's likely that I really like the film. Because I only got the ones that I really, really liked, with a couple of exceptions, and I'll get into those.
Okay. All right, my next one up is another one I have not yet seen, but I would like to. I believe this one is... I want to say this one may have been considered part of the Arrowverse, but it's, again, they have some animated outliers. It's certainly a character who's made some appearances. This one was on sale last Black Friday, and I put it back, and I was glad I did, because this time I got it for like $3 cheaper. I think it was a $4 movie. And that one was Constantine, City of Demons.
I need to get that. Every time I saw it was like up there, I missed my opportunity.
But this one, it is the same guy, Matt Ryan, who plays Constantine on the Arrowverse, and he does a great job with the character. And it's a fun character, and I can see here, looking at it, I can see Nightmare Nurse there on the cover. I'm guessing that dude could be Trigon, but I'm not. He doesn't quite look. But whatever. Could be fun. And yeah, it wasn't much.
I felt bad for that series. The original. I mean, I only got 1 season and kind of just failed out. All right, next one up. This is an excellent documentary called Orange County Hardcore Scenester. Apparently, the director of these films was also into punk during the golden age of punk in the early 90s, late 80s. And he was involved with a lot of different bands over out of Orange County, and including, one of the more famous ones like The Offspring, for instance. And this was just kind of going over his experience at the time. It's got some excellent music behind it, which, by the way, also 1985, 1986 also has excellent music. And it is a really riveting documentary if you like punk rock and you want to know a little bit more about some of the innards and what was going on for small groups trying to produce their own records, trying to stay away from the man, so to speak. I got to... When I was hanging with a lot of these groups in the late 90s, early 2000s, and going to the house concerts and stuff like that, there was still that sort of that feel that, we want to keep it small. And even some bands had had sort of songs reflecting it. Like Les and Jake had a song called Johnny Quest Thinks We're Sellouts. I know you've heard that one.
I know of it, and I think you've played it for me.
Yeah, and stuff like that. There was another one by Goldfinger called At the End of the Day, where that was basically a song about them selling out and then saying F you. And then an album or two later, they were talking about how people selling out is bad. So I was kind of all over the place with them.
Well, and one of the more punk ska infused songs on the radio, of course, was "Sell Out" and "Real Big Fish," and that was appropriate that was on the.
So really fun. I recommend it if you like good documentaries.
Good times.
Okay, moving on.
All right, so this is an interesting study in marketing. The first time DC Universe, animated universe, decided to show the Suicide Squad, they called it Batman Assault on Arkham. The second time they got to headline their own damn movie, and that was this one, which is called Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, which of course features Harley Quinn, Boomerang, and Deadshot, along with Bronze Tiger and some other dude I've never heard of called Copperhead. Oh no, I'm sorry, Copperhead I know from the game. And Killer Frost showed up in there as well. Yeah, this is better. This is much, much better. Both of the animated films are much better than that piece of whatever.
I've got that one too.
Yes. This was another one that I held off on getting because of price. I just wanted to get it as cheap as I could. And honestly, when I bought it, this whole stack, one of them I didn't bring tonight. But that one and this one, I bought them thinking, I think I have that. And then I went home and I was like, no, I didn't.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Yes, when you have as many as we do. I think this ended up being a $4 or $5 pickup. I think it was $4. And it turned out that no, it was not a duplicate.
I only get the animated ones when they're under 10.
Yeah.
It's just as a rule of thumb, because eventually they get there. That's why I've been waiting for Reign of the Superman to drop, because I want that one. Because I've got the Death of Superman one. I got both of them, actually, that they did. So, this next one is a slight switch up, which is Safety in Numbers. This is one of 3 of this type. They're done in black and white, and again, they kind of felt like they pulled from Woody Allen, and just the way of just people kind of reminded me of a Woody Allen / Kevin Smith film, on old school Kevin Smith, not like
Right.
And the way that they did the conversations and how they get along. The sound quality was not the best, but the music was really good in these. And it was very well written, very well acted, for the most part. Good one. I really enjoyed it. About relationships.
All right. So, lest you think that I have all DC stuff here, we'll go for something completely different. Marvel. And I have a visual effects nominee, Avengers Endgame. Very nice shiny cover there. This movie really should have been up for more than just visual effects, but whatever. But this was it was a fun movie. It was a well-made movie. I got a little too hung up on the fan service, led to some pretty gaping plot holes, unfortunately, but it's still a really fun movie and a serviceable way to end up 15 years of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where they go from here. I kind of hope this one gets the Oscar so that Marvel will be able to stand toe-to-toe with Suicide Squad. It's a huge freaking insult to Marvel that Suicide Squad has more Oscars than the MCU.
But not more nominations.
No.
Alright, well, one could say that the DCU Dependent has more nominations.
I think so, but...
Depends on if you consider Joker a part of DC.
Well, it's specifically not part of the DCEU. It's definitely not.
I think they've gotten rid of that all for the most part.
I don't know.
So this next one is a triple, which is the only time that I am not presenting necessarily one that is Anhedenia. Keep wanting to say Anhedenia Films. And this is the Scared Stiff collection. There are only 3 volumes, and one of them has his films in it, so I wanted to got all 3 of these, because some of them are getting out of print. So this is volume 1, which has 4 films on it that I don't know anything about. One is Shadow Creek Cult. You are what they eat. Rise of the Scarecrows, which has some sequels, but it has at least a sequel on the way out this year. Evil Legacy, and Family Secret. That's volume 1. Volume 2, you can see here. I got my backup in there, which has Loverboy, The 28th Day, The Wrath of Steph, Phantom of the Woods, and Scary Tales. What are you afraid of? Scary Tales, obviously. So, some interesting stuff I'll be watching eventually. And then, of course, the 3rd volume, which is the reason I got into this, was... You saw DV4 on there. You should have known these other 3 were going to be on here. So DV, DV2, and DV3. What's weird is I really did not like this series when I watched the first film. I felt it dragged. I didn't really understand what was going on, and I just didn't like it.
That's right, I don't like it.
Exactly. The second film, however, really pulled me in. It was legit creepy. I really loved the second and fourth film. And the third film was okay. It was good. It wasn't as good as the second film, but it was good. So it's like the first and third film were watchable, and the second and fourth film were amazing. So, and there's supposed to be a 5th one coming out, so if it's going on the trend, it probably won't be as good.
It'll be watchable.
It'll be watchable, and if it's going on that trend, maybe it will be good because they've been getting better on that side too. So it's, you know,
Yeah,
it's worth checking out. But it's a cool first shot on video horror series.
Good times.
And those 3 kind of encapsulate because they're all 3 of them revolve around the camera,
Right.
and then it switches up and branches out on the 4th movie.
All right. Well, once again, keeping up with the theme of interconnected films, the second in my Marvel group, Captain Marvel, which another one that was sorely overlooked by Oscar, at least for visual effects, possibly other stuff as well. And again, if they had use of music in film, this one did a phenomenal job of letting you know that it took place in the 90s. It really did. So it was a good, fun movie. Lots and lots of fun. Was hoping for a little bit more, but basically, and these 2 movies did showcase an issue, which is Captain Marvel is so overpowered. She's kind of tricky to incorporate into the rest of it, but still, it was interesting bringing in the Kree and the Skrull, and particularly Ben Mendelsohn does a phenomenal job in this film, and yeah, good times.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that she has managed to tap into all that nerd rage so many of them were so mad that they used the female Captain Marvel instead of the original male Captain Marvel. But there was a female Captain Marvel.
Yeah, for the longest freaking time, without whom you cannot have a comics faithful Rogue, without whom you cannot have a comics faithful Miss Marvel. So shut your yapping and accept it.
So I don't think that they'll do that comics faithful because they'd have to take her out to do that with Rogue.
I know, which kind of, I don't really see that, but I hope for it.
Yeah.
But you gotta have Miss Marvel. She's awesome.
And they were like, and they did have an animated one with Miss Marvel in it.
Yeah, I
which was
know. I
kinda
still
cool.
need to see that.
But it was interesting. They actually had a poll that was 35,000 signs saying they want her to leave Captain Marvel for Brie Larson. And I don't know. It's just kind of sad and pathetic to see
It
this
is
sort of
sad
thing.
and pathetic. Are they the same people that would sign a petition saying that Rian Johnson should stop making movies? Because those people suck.
Yeah, pretty much the same group. I mean, the same ones that probably hate Last Jedi and all this stuff. It's...
We're probably pissing off some people.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm sorry, Knives Out was awesome. So,
I know what's kind of funny is that people don't necessarily hate Knives Out because of that. You would have thought they would. But they don't hold that consistency level, I guess.
I guess the Oscars didn't seem to go for it.
Maybe the Oscars hated Last Jedi.
Stupid people. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, well, enough of that. But get our page torn down, if I might say. They would have probably turned down the page as soon as they heard you got Captain Marvel. Alright, so this is a double. This has one I really like and one I don't like, which is kind of funny. And also, if you want to hear how much I liked and didn't like this series, you can check it out because that is up and out for these two, which is Tim Cohen's Amazing Adventures and Cardboard Box Time Travel. Now,
I love the title.
That's is that not a title that draws you in?
I love that
I
title.
like the cover too, don't you? It is just fun. And essentially, it's about this guy who talks about how he's gotten time traveled by climbing into a cardboard box. And you spend most of the time trying to guess whether this guy is insane or it's really happening.
Huh.
And it really is a fun movie. It reminded me a little bit of K-Pax, but I don't have to hate the main actor. So
The title puts me in mind of Hot Tub Time Machine, but you know.
no, not quite. Now then, there's the sequel, which I also like this cover. Now don't get me wrong, which is Tim Cohen 2, which continues the story, and it has some entertaining elements, like a guy standing in a really small cardboard box to try and time travel. I did find that entertaining, but I felt like the movie dragged at a lot of points, and the fact that they really didn't have the budget to show a lot of time travel type effects
Right.
really hurt it, because they were basically, oh look, there's something like that over there. We can't show it to you though. But I am curious. There's supposed to be a third one coming out that will wrap up the story. So I want to know: are they going to be able to stop the Kennedy assassination?
The one to wrap up the story. So is it going to be like a wrapping paper and gift
Maybe I could see a good box set
wrap? Right.
for this.
All right. So, for those of you still steaming that I presented 2 movies in a row with Captain Marvel, this one does not have Captain Marvel. Spider-Man Far From Home.
Ah, very good.
Yes, this was very good. It was a fun movie. I enjoy those films. I understand Disney and Sony made a deal. I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
It was very upsetting that they were not going to, especially with the last second cameo you get in this film that brought our hopes way up in the sky. But at any rate, I'm very curious about where they're going to go from here. I definitely enjoyed this one. It was interesting for me because I'm familiar with the character of Mysterio. The way he was presented in the trailers and in the film, I was like, where are they going with this? And so I spent most of the film waiting for the shoe to drop, as they say.
Yeah.
And it was a very interesting effect that probably would not have worked so well for someone not familiar with the comics, but it was still interesting. Jake Gyllenhaal, of course, is a very talented actor and did a good job with the role. This is a good one. And this illustrates why I am sometimes willing to rush out Black Friday before it even starts. Actually did not get... Oh, because of friggin' Suicide Squad. I think I shared this on this channel. We were watching that, and it ended when Best Buy closed. So I didn't get to go till the following morning. But they had all of these. These were all $7 pickups. Which for Marvel films, that's pretty friggin' awesome. So,
I got similar deals, so I can't really...
But
very
happy.
That's and it's weird. I really liked Mysterio because it's just something about him. There were some.
He's a likable character in the film. He really.
I'm curious as to how much they went and said, fuck the comics, with him, because I always thought the character was interesting. He's one of the few characters that's actually managed to really mess Peter Parker's mind up to the point of breaking. So,
and not just Peter Parker. If you, there was all this to do a couple years back about a little film called Logan. If you're familiar with the Old Man Logan comics, Mysterio was the trigger for that in the comics. The villains all said, "We're always losing because we always go after the same people. Let's trade." And Mysterio went to the X-Mansion and made Wolverine believe that the mansion was overrun with villains, and he slaughtered them all. There were no survivors. And then he found out it was the X-Men.
Well,
that was
See, he's a special effects wizard.
Yeah,
that's the that was the concept.
Yeah,
it's also kind of funny if you have played the video game, one of the Spider-Man video games, the Mysterio fight at the beginning of it. He like amps it up, and you think it's like this giant health bar.
Right.
You walk up to him, you hit him, and then the health bar just collapses and he falls.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Well, let's go on, move on.
All right.
So the one I liked the least out of the trilogy of this type was the Toll Collector. It was still very well written and very well acted, and done that same black and white style. And the sound quality was the best out of those three, but I don't know. It is. I need to watch it again. I want to just sit down here, because when I'm watching something on my phone, which I watch most of these on my phone, or on the go, because that's all I have time for, I really don't get to enjoy the film as much. So I really want to be able to just sit here and watch it. When I can watch these films and my big screen TV, I can get some major enjoyment out of it. So I am going to be doing that.
Good times.
All right, moving on.
Yes, moving on. And now for something completely different. After all these comic films, we're going to go for a little dose of hyperrealism. Honestly, this format for this one is the format I wanted for the first half of the series, but I got a really good price on the regular edition and went for it. But I was able to get the Steelbook edition for the second half. And this is the Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks produced war drama. The first half, of course, is Band of Brothers. This half is the Pacific. So I got the really nice Steelbook edition.
Very cool.
And I think it was really... I think this was $15. It might have been... It was not much. But... and if I remember correctly, I believe you've seen this and I've seen Band of Brothers,
yes.
right? We both need to fix that. But and now I have both parts. Band of Brothers was freaking awesome. It was an incredible miniseries. I've heard this one is quite incredible as well.
Shiny.
It is shiny. So one day I will launch back into the first one and then follow it up with this. That will be a big time suck, so God knows when it'll happen, but looking forward to it, though.
So, one of my favorites of this trilogy that he did, which was the first one, oddly enough, Walking Between Raindrops. Had a really good story of a kind of an unrequited love. It was really well done. The music was great. The sound quality was not so good. But it really was. This is my favorite of the three. I really like these three. I need to watch them back to back again. But this one actually did have a revisited one. And I wasn't quite certain whether this was the same film or whether they had actually done that. I mean, I like how it actually says here, Walking Between Raindrops is an analytical exercise in the style of Woody Allen. It's an engaging little soap opera with some interesting observations to make about relationships. It's about an awkward, nerdy dope named Stan and his love for an out-of-his-league woman named Sarah.
Sounds like Woody Allen.
If this had been a Woody Allen film, the lead character would have gotten laid.
Yeah, possibly.
It was really nice to watch their relationship develop at its own pace, growing with each conversation into a state that both of them have a hard time comprehending. Some of their meetings are charming, while some are merely charming in an Alan Keaton lobster kind of way. The film stays with Stan as he tries to figure it all out by himself, with a little help from his friends, which aren't that much help at all, by the way. I think in one of my actual reviews that I did, like of the riverbed coming up in there, which wasn't as nice on. I hope you don't mind. But I was like, gosh, his friends are really crappy. They always abandon him. They always they give him bad advice. They just no. Anyone who's experienced what they have thought was love, but ultimately ended up in loss, and can give themselves over to this film, may find it genuinely heartbreaking. It shows that successful relationships are about knowing what to do and when and how costly it can be when you don't know for sure. True enough. I have been there myself. Abruptly Walking Between Raindrops ends how you might have thought it should when it began. But when the ending does come, it's kind of devastating. So, this is a big-budget remake of the Evan Jacobs 1995 film. So, I'm curious. I want to watch these kind of back-to-back to see.
Right.
So, I didn't want to just go with this one. It's much more expensive, by the way, than this one, because I really like the original, but I am curious. I want to see that.
Good deal.
Yep.
I just realized something else cool about this that I didn't realize. The kid from Radio Flyer who played Tim in Jurassic Park actually co-stars in this. Yeah. And then, of course, he went on to play John Deacon in Bohemian Rhapsody. I forgot about that. But it'd be interesting to see him in a long-term miniseries.
Someone call me Tim.
Yes. Now, keeping another mini theme here, I have another Steelbook. And this one is a film that actually shows that the Oscars are not completely deaf to soundtracks, but instead of creating a use of music and film Oscar like they need to, they nominated it for sound editing and sound mixing. And that is the film Baby Driver by Edgar Wright. And this one features Anson Elgort in the main role. You also got Lily James, John Bernthal, John Hamm, Jamie Foxx. And this came out shortly after the whole kerfuffle erupted around Kevin Spacey. I think it's the only Kevin Spacey film I've seen since then. He does play a villain in here, so it doesn't really hurt his appearance that much. This is a really fun movie with a kick-ass soundtrack. I think it was also up for editing, and it deserved that nod as well. I'm a big fan of Edgar Wright in general. He does a lot of really good stuff, kind of pulpy, back to the comic feel a little bit. And I like the cover here. It's a really cool looking cover. Like I said, I don't collect steelbooks the way he does, but I like picking them up. And this was a good I think it was only 10 or 12. It wasn't a bad price. So I'm glad to finally get that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's certain types of ones I just want all on Steelbook. Like I want all the Star Wars movies on Steelbook,
Right.
which means I have to pre-order them. I want all the DC movies, not necessarily the not necessarily just the DCEU, which is why I got Joker on Steelbook. Though eventually I might go for the Batman movies on Steelbook and get all of those. It's just one step at a time. But last but not least, one that's probably not going to be on Steelbook.
Are you on last already?
Yeah, I think so. That's 13. Like 1, there was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, you've
11.
been presenting them together. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll do my last two as a pair, I guess.
Let's see. Double check. 1 for that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. I put that one away. Oh, so I had 12. Well, I can pull one more.
Okay.
No worries. Oh, wait. Oh, no. 12 and 13 for Schuster Levine. Yeah, it is 13.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
I can pull an extra one just in case. It's not like I can't pull one off the
Well,
shelf.
it's up to you. Go for it. Go
Alright,
ahead.
so this one is watching a movie.
That's me watching some of the stuff in Movies Galore discussions.
So essentially, it's actually a kind of fun one. It's the first one I've watched of his.
Yeah.
The very first one. And I just thought, oh, well, how appropriate. And I went ahead. And it's kind of fun. It's just this movie thing where he
Right.
goes in and he just starts talking. He just says, I'm filming myself watching a movie. I want to do this as an art project. And unfortunately for him, because he wanted to do the Andy Warhol thing, where he filmed the Empire State Building.
Right.
But instead of doing it for 8 hours, he just wanted to film himself watching a movie. It kind of reminded me of a play called The Audience. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a play essentially where instead of watching the play, you're watching the audience watching the play.
Huh.
And you get to see him, and then his friends keep coming in and messing with him and bothering him. He keeps getting pissed off at him because they're interrupting his movie, but inadvertently they're, of course, making it art in action. So, kind of fun that way.
Now, you know what that reminds me of is that video that we watched of that dude watching the Ghostbusters trailer, and you get to see his soul dying.
But yeah, I can pull one more after.
Okay, so my next one is another Oscar nominee this year.
Ah, good one.
How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. It is a good one. It's a very good one. Can't remember how much it cost. It was not expensive. I want to say maybe 8 or 9. Maybe not even that. This is a really good series. They did it very specifically as a trilogy, and as a trilogy it works really nicely. This comes with a couple shorts apparently. I'll have to watch those eventually. Good times. It's a shame it doesn't have a shot of winning this year.
Yeah.
But
It would be entertaining if it took the win, because
Yeah.
Toy Story 3 was the one who took the win from the first one.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
it'd be kind of funny then.
Poetic, yes.
So, you know what? I threw a Oscar one on here. And
Ah.
by the way, for those that are missing, either I ran out of money, so I couldn't buy anymore. But 2, it could be that I can't get at them. Like the Riverbed, I couldn't find one for. And the Riverbed, there are some parts I thought were kind of silly, but at the same thing, I actually did find it entertaining and well acted. So again, it's just, a mixture.
Cool.
But speaking of well acted, Pain and Gain. Wait, no. Pain and Glory.
You will get it one of these days.
So, it's actually really cheap. Well, on DVD, I can get it for $3.
Really?
Pain and Glory. Now Pain and Gain. Damn it. Oh, boy. But Antonio Banderas, I believe, got his acting nomination. It got a couple more, too. It got foreign language. That was international film.
That's it.
So, it's worth getting because it had 2 nominations. So it's going to be worthwhile anyway. And he did do an excellent job acting in this. I know that you said you got it from the library, or we're getting
No,
it.
I haven't seen it yet. No, I want to.
Yeah, if you want to borrow it, you can borrow my
I
copy.
appreciate it. I'd like to see this. Antonio Banderas. And, of course, and in special collaboration con Penelope Cruz.
It was a very dark tale, very kind of somber,
Imagine.
but some good music to it. It was, like I say, worthwhile watching. Just finished watching it today.
Oh, very good. This, of course, is Pedro Almodovar's film that's sort of his 8.5 from what I understand. And Antonio Banderas is way overdue.
Far better than 8.5.
Banderas is way overdue for some Oscar glory. I rewatched Desperado and Once Upon a Time in Mexico, and he was excellent. Not quite Oscar level, but excellent in those films. But
He's just one of those. He reminds me. Actually, I do believe that they created the show thinking of him, and King of the Hill, where they always watch the show with the priest. It's the Mexican show, and then the guy is always like, "Vaya con Dios."
yes. So, the last one is a film that got very much overlooked come award season, and I'm not sure I can really fight that, but I really think it was a good film that was sorely overlooked with a kick-ass cast. And it reminds me in very many ways, I was just talking about Desperado and Once Upon a Time in Mexico. We're doing a, I guess by the time this airs, we will have done.
Oh yeah.
You will
Wednesday,
check out not the main Inside Movies Galore discussion this week. I think this will be on the Delusions of Grandeur page.
The pre-show.
The pre-show. We're doing the Mexico trilogy from Robert Rodriguez. And another film from Robert Rodriguez is that's part of the trilogy. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Good show. Good movie.
A film that kind of reminds me of that era of Rodriguez's filmmaking, of From Dusk Till Dawn and Desperado specifically, that I really enjoyed. That was from Drew Goddard, the director of co-director or writer or whatever it was of Cabin in the Woods. Is a movie called Bad Times at the El Royale.
I need to see that.
Which features Jeff Bridges, Oscar-nominated actress this year, Cynthia Erivo, Dakota Johnson, Razzie-nominated actress, John Hamm, Kylie Spaney, who's probably a couple years away from an Oscar nom, she's that awesome, Lewis Pullman, and Chris Hemsworth. And basically, it takes place in a seedy hotel on the Nevada-California line. Bridges is a preacher who may not be all that he appears. Erivo plays a singer, which she is. She's a phenomenal singer. Pullman plays the kind of creepy concierge. Ham plays a, quote, federal agent. Spaney is a kidnapping victim of her sister, played by Dakota Johnson. And they're both running, or mainly Johnson is running, from a charismatic cult leader played by Hemsworth. And it's a crazy, crazy twisted film. Again, definitely shades of Dusk Till Dawn and Desperado and Cabin in the Woods, and fun movie, and I really enjoyed it, and I picked it up really cheap, and I was very happy to do so.
Well, that was a large pickup.
Yep.
I hope you all have enjoyed all of that beautiful DVD and
Good
Blu-ray
stuff.
footage.
Yeah.
So we will, of course, have to see you on the next one, but I hope you've enjoyed it.